Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bold, a RoomRaccoon series where we shine a light on independent hoteliers rewriting the rules of hospitality. I'm your host, Nadja. Today's episode is all about transformation and bold reinvention. After 3 decades in the corporate world, José Gonçalves didn't just retire. He completely reimagined his life. He swapped a career in IT for boutique hospitality and brought a 300-year-old abandoned building back to life. Now, José and his family run 2 incredible properties in the Portugal's Algarve region: the peaceful countryside retreat Conversas de Alpendre and the elegant Colégio charm house in Tavira, a favorite with both celebrities and international travelers. With sustainability at the core and family at the heart of everything he does, José's story is proof that it's never too late to follow your passion and do it boldly. Let's get into it. José, welcome to Bold.
Thank you, Nadia. Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you for RoomRaccoon for the initiative. It's very interesting. Again, as you said, after 30 years on the IT world, working with multinationals and seeing, all over the world, me and my family, we decided to pursue a long-standing dream, which was to have, I call it more an extension of our home, open to friends and guests, and initially thinking very much on friends, and then suddenly the things become more and more interesting and more complex, and so we decided to move on to a different approach, which is extending this home to a more hospitality type of business. Initially, we created the Conversas de Alpendre, which is a farm near the sea in Algarve, near the southern part, the southeast part of Algarve. A few years later, we decided to, as you said, also to rebuild an old building from the 18th century that was abandoned in Tavira and created the Colégio charm house. Yeah, the 2 properties are close to each other, but they are very distinctive and very different. One is in the countryside, so it's a farm, all the things of the farm, while Colégio is a city type of hotel, meaning it's in the center of Tavira, which is a lovely town. And it's very interesting because they complement each other very well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that essentially, in a nutshell, was a little bit the pursuit of a dream. And it was not a dream, it was a dream shared by the family. So at the time we were 4, my wife, myself, my daughter, and my son-in-law. Unfortunately, my son-in-law passed away, and it was impossible to continue with us because of that. And but we continued to pursue the dream because in his memory also, and because we truly believe it's a very interesting thing. I have my grandson also, and my grandson helps. We call it the small boss. So my grandson goes around the hotels, and he is always um, doing something, and it's very nice.
How old is your grandson?
8 years. So, but
8
he's
years.
already there pushing around.
Ah, I'm really sorry to hear the sad part of the story, but I think it's very beautiful that you turn it around into something that actually does create memories. So that is really,
Yeah,
really, really nice.
yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey, right? You already said you worked in IT before for a longest time, and then you made the switch. So what is like the biggest surprise so far that came your way, like that you really didn't imagine?
Well, it's funny because you when you work in large corporations, and as I have done, um, you get used to everything is structured, is planned. There are people to do all kinds of work there, and I'm not saying that we don't have less work, but there are a lot of people, a lot of talent to do things, and it's completely different because you work in teams and all this is, and it's the combination of the talent of many people that creates these large multinationals, and that that they bring new products, new things to the market. When you start a small business,
You
you are a
have to
little bit
become an all-rounder.
you are a bit a one-man show, or
Yeah.
more or less. We, as a team, we're very fortunate because we complement each other. So Christina, my wife, has a very nice eye for everything that is decoration, everything that is beautiful, and to create environments that are very natural, at the same organically, also that people feel well. Marta, my daughter, also the same, and she's a very nice person on the day-by-day basis. So she likes very much to receive people. And I was bringing a little bit this more structured approach from, the large companies where you need to follow, not to follow processes, but to create processes that facilitates the day by day, making sure that when a guest enters, um, is not bothered by things. Essentially, it needs to be a smooth process,
Yeah.
smooth. And at the end, hospitality is a business to people type of business. Many people think that if you have a large brand and in the hotel business, you are going to bring clients just because of the brand and nice locations, of course. But on the small type of business that we work, the brand doesn't exist. Nobody knows Conversas de Alpendre in the world. A few clients know, Colégio the same, but it's not known. So we need to use other type of approach to that. And essentially what we do is this approach on sustainability, this approach on um, facing the client with a smile, making sure that he's comfortable, making sure that we know the client, we know what is his or
Preference.
her restrictions, what things we need to account to make sure that the stay is perfect, and essentially knowing that client, knowing
Yeah.
that guest.
I very much can relate to this. So yeah, as you maybe as I've known, like I also ran a small boutique hotel, 9 luxurious rooms. And yeah, exactly what you say. As a team, you play together, you work hard, you play hard, you trust each other, right? And yeah, welcoming the guests and having like the smile of the guests every day is like the biggest rewards. And I think
Yeah, it is. It is.
well, I'm gonna deviate then a little bit as well because you literally had like celebrities over there as well. Like, how do you treat them? Like, and maybe I tell a little anecdote about myself as well, but this is about you. But I think it fits so well right now. I once also had a famous person. I didn't recognize them, so I don't know so many famous people. So I just was treating them as like as normal thing, right? And then I even remember the next morning, we had a really small breakfast room, and unfortunately, not all of the guests can fit at the same time if they all come at the same
Yeah.
time. So I had like a little kitchen where I then prepared the stuff and made the eggs, and I had a little seating area there as well. So I put him there, right? And then I think he sent me a message the next day, and then yeah, or people asked for autographs, and I was like, who is this person? And then I realized, and I think he sent me a message the next day and said, hey, I really enjoyed just like being a guest.
Yeah.
I said for you the same. Like, did you recognize your celebrities?
Yeah, well, probably the most well known was Keanu Reeves.
Wow.
He was there with friends and family and so on. And it was very interesting. We saw the name on the reservation and we could be, is not. Should we call? Should we have something prepared? Does he need anything particular? The usual stuff that you see that someone that is well recognized and sometimes creates problems because of that. They need privacy. They need to be, in a way that they can relax and enjoy their holidays. And in the particular case of Keanu, he was a very straightforward and very kind person. He didn't want anything. And the funny thing, probably the most interesting thing, we our breakfast is served. It's not buffet. We don't have buffets. We serve everything. We create the breakfast for each guest. So each guest decides what he wants or she wants, and we create for him whatever he needs. And it was funny because he was waking up middle of the morning, barefoot, coming along and say, "Give me orange juice, please." And then he swallowed the orange juice, go back to the room, and then later come for the breakfast.
And that's the beauty, right? If you have like a boutique hotel, you can do so much extra
Yeah,
care and want to prepare for people and want to, but people come, I believe, to a boutique hotel because they just don't want to, they just want to relax a little bit more, want to have a little bit more this family vibe, this little extra touches,
that's
that
correct.
are just
That's correct.
not
Yeah,
doable in other larger corporations.
yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about breaking barriers.
Mhm.
So you're stepping into the hospitality background, and that takes guts, right? I mean, you said it's a long-term dream, and also together with the family fulfilling it, but still, it is a step that you have to make. Like, what was your absolute biggest challenge for that?
Well, the first thing is knowing the industry, independently if it's large or small, you have a language, you have some practices, you need to make sure that at the end you are doing something that is rational and that makes sense and that the client is pleased. Probably in the beginning, and we made lots of mistakes, the usual stuff, mistakes of all types. And of course, we learn from the mistakes, and also we learn because we wanted to learn about especially the language of the industry, making sure that we understand the metrics, making sure that we understand the reviews. We understand what is in between the lines of the
Yeah.
reviews. Um, we understand the connection with the clients and why that connection is emotional more than business. It's the connection that we need to develop with our guests is an emotional connection. And that means that there is not a book where every of those things is written. You need to develop by itself. You need to create a service that supports that. You need to create a certain ethos that allows you and your team, especially the team, to operate in a way that reinforce some of these ideas and some of these situations. So, for instance, our guests, when they arrive, we ask several things related with the restrictions in order to be able to accommodate during the different days they are there. Um, but there is a second degree on that. Uh, our team of the reception, so the guest team, at the same time is serving the tables of the dinners, the lunch, the breakfast, is the same team.
Mhm.
And we want them to know that the person X doesn't like X. And so when they arrive there, and when the breakfast arrives to the guest, they know already that eggs is not allowed. And that means that we need to put behind, and that's the role of RoomRaccoon, to put behind a lot of information that is being spread on the teams that make sure that we understand the client, because of course there are 40, 70 clients at the same time in the hotel,
Yeah,
and we need to make sure that we don't forget anything
yeah.
because that particular touch in the eyes of the client is the uniqueness of the relationship.
It's so simple, such a simple thing, right? But it makes all the difference in the world.
Makes
And
difference. Yeah. And
absolutely.
so that's the kind of things that we believe when we are trying not only to understand the industry, because we need to understand everything of the industry, all this jargon, the RevPAR, the
Yeah,
ADR, you name it.
yeah.
But on top, you need also to break a little bit some of the barriers of the industry. For me, one of the barrier of the industry is why there is a time to finish the breakfast. I don't see a reason for that. So
Mhm.
in our hotels, the time to finish the breakfast doesn't exist. You can come at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There will be a breakfast for you.
Oh, really?
Uh,
And that's amazing.
it is. We could not understood the reason to have to oblige a client that likes to sleep until late and to come to have the breakfast instead of just relaxing until he wants.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there you and me have also another thing in common is that we both come from a different industry before, and we both kind of rolled into this
Yeah.
hospitality and fulfilling a dream. This is also how we kind of built RoomRaccoon. Like we always thought we never looked at other system or never looked at how it was been done, or you maybe haven't been blindsided by how it has always worked, right? You
Yeah.
rather think about like there's a problem, okay, we need a solution for that, and I think that's pretty cool. But extending that not only to a system but to how to run your operations, um, yeah, I think that takes a lot of creativity as well.
Yeah.
So really, really well done.
It is a mix of many things, and as you said, sometimes we are uh, inside a box and we cannot get out of the box. You
Mm.
cannot, you are too structured to, and sometimes coming from the outside creates this opportunity to look at things in a different way. And one of the things that we always say is the breakfast hours. And arriving a client that is been flying is tired, and we say to him, just relax, don't worry. Breakfast starts at 8:30, but you can come at 4 o'clock in the afternoon the day after. We'll have breakfast for you. Don't worry with that. And that immediately the shoulders of the person, the
Yeah,
stress
yeah.
starts to go away.
Exactly,
And
and that's maybe a different concept, right? So
of,
you do have
of
different
course,
concepts, but I think if you are talking about a boutique hotel,
mhm,
what is like the essence of a boutique hotel? It's not the size
no,
per se, right? It's a concept, and
that's
I
correct.
think what you describe is just an excellent. It just
Mhm.
fits right to this
Yeah,
concept.
yeah. And then we operate the two hotels exactly in the same way, and using the same system. Again, these are things that came from my previous life, getting commonalities on the background that allows the service to evolve in a very smooth way.
Yeah,
Instead of, it's a different hotel, so I'm going to put different processes, different systems. We are very much on the common systems in everything that doesn't relate with the client. What we
hmm,
want to be unique is in the relationship with the client. All the
yeah.
rest needs to be common to make sure that we can bring people from one side to the other and they operate exactly in the same way. So we can, when we have a big event in one of the hotels, we can bring people and staff from the other hotel to help, and everything works in the same way for them.
Exactly, because like any kind of tool or system or whatever, it is a facilitator, right? It's not
Correct.
the driver.
Yeah,
It's not gonna create the guest experience. It's not what guests usually interact
that's
with,
the point.
well, at least not to some extent. So when we're talking about your concept, I know that it's quite an eco-friendly concept, right? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So we look at sustainability. There are many things that nowadays this word can encapsulate. Sustainability can be
Many.
millions of things. The most important thing for us in terms of sustainability is the practices in certain areas of making sure we protect where we live, but also that we are part of the communities where we live. This means that we want to have partnerships, close partnerships with producers, with people, with partners, in order to create an ecosystem of people that are living in the same way and that they share a commonality, which is the area where they live. So
Hmm.
we try to make sure that we bring every day um, you know, products of the region that we put in all our menus and the breakfasts, things that are very particular of the region where we live and that
Okay.
are sourced in suppliers that live also in the same region. And that for us is a rather important thing because we are part of the community. Many
Yeah.
of the people that work there have families working in other of these small producers. So it's a community type of approach that we love, and that for us is more sustainable because we are supporting them and they are supporting us, meaning the same effect. They are in many cases like we are very proud of using their products. They are very proud of being our suppliers, and that is a win-win situation when these things happen.
Yeah, I think you're really right there. And I think personally, I think it's maybe also a little bit the responsibility of a hotel to, engage with your, how you nicely say it, community around you, but also your city. I mean, a guest most likely comes from outside of the city, right? It's not so often that somebody who lives in the city stays in a hotel within the same city. So you're like the starting point as a hotelier to, introduce them to the region, give them advices, introduce nice other restaurants, right? I had collaborations and package deals with quite some other restaurants around me. I didn't have an own restaurant, so it really is nice, right? Or like, I don't know, bike rental companies or any kind of things, because you are like such a central part within this guest journey, and you can enrich the guest experience by offering something like that, but obviously also help your community and your city to bring extra business and value
That's
to
the
us.
point. That's the point. I'll tell you a small example which shows a little bit the cooperation between all these entities. We in Conversas, as I told you, is in the countryside near the beach. The beach are in the sandy islands in the sea. So we need to go there by boat. Okay? So what have we done with partners that we created? So we have an old jeep in Conversas. We pick the people. We have the boat already arranged. We have the sunbeds in the beach already arranged. We give them a picnic. And when they want to come back, just call us and we'll be there waiting for them. So what we engage 3 or 4 entities that are here, and we created a little bit of a process, very simple one, but it's a huge service for many of the guests because many that came here are foreigners, so a little bit more complicated to know the ins and outs of the roads and all these things. And we smooth everything, so he doesn't have to worry about anything. But we engage with 2 or 3 partners to do this and to make sure this flows very easily and that the client is, doesn't have to worry with anything.
Absolutely. Definitely. It also expands your horizon, what you can offer, right? But if you leverage on partners, it makes it so much more complete. I mean, there are a lot of different concepts that you can think about and to partner up, and it's always a win-win. So really, really
That's
nice.
the point. That's exactly the point.
All right. Perfect. I'm super curious to understand what your future aspiration is. I mean, not that you not have enough to do yet already, but what's next for your 2 amazing properties?
It's funny because um, some properties like ourselves are sometimes limited by rules, restrictions, and so you cannot grow many times. Said that, we are as a team, and again, the team, I'm fortunate on that. We are always looking at things and new things. So we are planning to have the expansion of Colégio because we bought the land next door to be able to expand. We are on the very early stage of that. So, and again, we think that we are going to do it, but it's going to take a few years before it become a reality because these things takes time. As you said in the beginning, to make the Colégio between the start and the opening, there were 5 years of work. It was not an easy process. It's a building from the 18th century. It's classified, meaning it's a monument. So you need to be very careful on what we do there. So, you need to respect the history of that is behind. It was originally, the last incarnation was a school. And that's the reason we call it Colégio. Colégio is school in Portuguese.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And before that, and the origin of it, it's even more funnier because it was the house of the retired chef of the king.
Oh, wow.
So when he retired from his job as chef of the king, he gave him land, which was essentially the retirement coin of the time, and he became a very wealthy person in Tavira. So he decided to build his house, and it's nowadays Colégio. And it's very funny because it has a long story around that. And then he was abandoned after the revolution in Portugal in 74. So it was staying there without anything. Um, it was considered the haunted house of Tavira. So, this is part of the history, and we need to respect it and use it because, people that go there, guests that go there, they enjoy a lot hearing the story behind all these. And so it takes the time.
So coming to my last question, so if you're thinking about, we talked a lot about boutique hotels and boutique hospitality as a total thing. If you would have to make one real bold prediction, like what do you think is going to happen?
Well, it's truly a very difficult. The crystal ball is here. It's a little bit uncloudy, I have to say, because there are two different things happening at the moment. There are. I think at a certain generation, people want more and more unique statements. Meaning, I want to be in a place where nobody was before. They need to be comfortable. They need to have quality. They need to be served. All the basics needs to be there. But on top, they would like to have this uniqueness thing. Now, that's what we serve today already. But my question mark is the new generation that comes below. Because, this new generation, the way they see the world is completely different from this other generation that I'm talking about. So the challenge is how this thing is going to evolve. Are we going to evolve or they are going to evolve? And probably both.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to happen soon, later, I don't know.
No. Well, I guess the future holds transformation and, reinventing
that's
ourselves continuously.
That's the word.
Yeah, José, thank you so much for your
Thank you to you,
insights,
Nadia.
your very beautiful properties, your story with rebuilding this old school or haunted house.
Yeah. And thank you for the support that you gave us all the time. It was RoomRaccoon played a huge role in our operation. We decided to standardize in RoomRaccoon exactly because it's very easy to work, and all our staff understands very well, and it's very easy to make whatever is necessary there. But we are very pleased with the support we got from your company. And that's very important for us because, as I said, we want common things, practical, simple, and that, anybody can enter and quickly get up to speed to support the client.
Thank you so much. We will continue to reinvent ourselves as well. Yeah, so also from that perspective, thank you for your trust and helping us to grow together. And it was an absolute pleasure to meet you and to hear your story.